Welcome to another episode here on the Hentrepreneur Podcast. Today, I am sharing a little bit of a story time with you, all about how a simple household printer totally changed my perspective and not only how I view myself, but also how I view my business. So let's jump right in. Welcome to the Hentrepreneur Podcast, the exclusive podcast of its kind, dedicated to giving you an honest look at the realities of making a living as a henna professional. I'm your host, Chelsea Stevenson, a tea-loving, shoe-collecting mother of three in constant search for the most poppin' pair of earrings and the perfect shade of red lipstick. I'm also a professional henna artist and business strategist who went from barely being able to piece together a fluid design to being the owner of the most celebrated henna boutique in my city. I'm on a mission to help henna professionals to harness their skills and grow vibrant, profitable businesses that they absolutely love. If you want to make more money with your art, you are definitely in the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, hennapreneurs. Okay, so last summer, I made the decision to join a program to help push myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone and to try to lean into a better iteration of me. And so there I was, minding my own damn business, making my way through the coursework, right? And my coach has the nerve to ask, what makes me feel poor? Now, hold the phone, okay? Let me just, I'm going to pause right here because now I'm going to have to tell you how I went about showing my whole behind for weeks on end after being prompted with that question. But first, here's the story time, okay? So I'm the type of person that I enjoy pen to paper processing when I'm unpacking things or journaling or mind mapping, right? Like I am the type of person that I like to get my ideas out of my body, out of my mind, put them on paper because that's how I'm the most effective. So naturally, as I'm working through my coursework, I go to hit print to download and, print off this PDF so that I can start journaling around, the work that I was doing. So I call out to my eldest and I ask him to bring me the pages from the printer. And he comes into the room and he brings half of the pages with him. And these pages look crazy. Like when I say they look crazy, they look crazy. Like they're janky, they're like sideways, like they're half printed on properly. It was just a hot mess, okay? So I thank him. Like I look at the page and I'm like, okay, thanks. I'm like, there should be like 3 more pages here. And he's like, well, Mom, that's all there was, right? And so I'm like, can you go back and double check the printer, please? And so he goes back to my office and he revisits the printer and he's like, Mom, it's jammed. And when I say I was triggered AF, y'all, like, I mean it. So like, here's the thing. Let me give you some context, okay? I remember buying that printer. When I bought that printer, I bought it brand new. It was around $70. And these things, I remember them because they were significant. Like they were very significant to me back then. Back then, that was serious bread that I was spending. And it really cost me to make that purchase. Purchasing the printer was one of my first business investments, actually. I purchased that printer when my son was tiny. Like it's been around for years, 9 years actually at that point. And, it supported me through those years, both in my business's operations and in homeschooling my children. And, in short, that Joan has put in work, okay? And it had been like on its last leg. So I knew that it was becoming time, but also I'd been putting off replacing it. Why? I don't know. Like I couldn't give you a solid answer. So, but there I am. All right. There I am. I'm trying to print off these pages so I can write the things down about, what makes me feel poor. And this broke ass printer won't even let me, create and complete these pages. It's not even delivering me the pages that I need so that I can do the work. And the irony of that all just kind of like knocked me right across the face. And I just have to say, like, listen, when I say I went off, I mean it. Like, I was pissed. So I take to the internet and within moments, Which of course I had to do a couple Google searches because let's face it, I don't know a thing about printers. Like I'm a tech person for sure. I could build you a website in like 20 minutes, but I don't know a thing about printers. And purchasing that printer way back when was literally, that was the first time I'd ever purchased a printer. And so, I was very limited in what I could afford. And so I bought what was best at the time. But even then I was kind of going in blind, right? So there I am, like I said, I take to the internet and within moments, like I've got this new printer in my shopping cart. And that bad boy, when I tell you that bad boy had all the bells and whistles, like all the bells and whistles. And at $400 of an investment, I'm feeling like all the come up vibes as I'm side-eyeing my old printer. Like I'm looking at this busted thing and I'm like, you about to get replaced today, So here I am doing this like work around my money mindset and whatnot. And I'm just like, ready to, I don't know, do this victory dance. Because I'm just thinking, you know what? That damn printer it's done. It is done making me feel poor. And that's when I just went all the way in, like all the way in. I tossed out and replaced a bunch of household items that gave me those feelings of being poor or inconvenienced or unworthy of having better, right? Like down to the simplest items. I purchased like a can opener and an ice cream scoop because the ones that I had were like rusty and busted or otherwise made me feel poor. I remember giving my husband a list of tasks to be done around the house by that Friday. Like, I'm like, listen, there's paint touch-ups that need to be done. There's moving of some things that needs to happen. And like, there are some other items that I need to see be taken care of so that I can feel more happy and so that I can feel less poor in my space. I went through my wardrobe. Oh my gosh. I remember removing all of the like frumpy house clothes, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You always have that drawer of clothes that like you revisit often. And it's like your house clothes and you put them on and they're super comfortable. But also like if you walk by a mirror, you like avoid making eye contact with yourself because you don't feel good in them, right? They don't make you feel like your best self. So yeah, I removed all of the frumpy house clothes that had, evaded my last purge on the grounds of being like, but maybe I'll need that sometime. Nope. I'm a grown ass woman and I can wear pajama sets and cute home lounge clothes now. I don't need frumpy house clothes, period, right? I remember I even went so far at that point as when I chose to start outsourcing meal planning and grocery ordering to save myself time. And we even went so far as to finding, an on-call housekeeper who I could lean on when I needed more support in keeping the house, better maintained. I wanted to have a space that was better maintained where I could feel comfortable and feel like I can breathe. I'm the type of person that I really don't like clutter. And once my home space is cluttered, like I get into, when I say a mood, I mean it. Like I'm in a horrible funk. I'm not productive. And I don't perform at my best. And I definitely don't show up as my best self for my family. And so, yeah. So I just, by the time I'd made it through all of the journaling, right, around, what makes me feel poor and like how I can step into this, better version of myself, I'd created a list with like 15 different action items that I needed to do or to have done if I was outsourcing to take back my environment and really to recharge it with focused and wealth-inspired energy. And I have to tell you, looking back at that exercise and looking back at making those changes and taking those actions, it felt really great to check each of those items off of that list. And I remember like saving the best task for last. I had made homework for myself. One of the tasks that I wanted to do was I wanted to revisit my closet and I wanted to buy myself 3 new pairs of shoes. And to buy some new art to hang in my home. Like I wanted to be surrounded by more beauty and I wanted to give myself, I was going to say gift myself, but actually it wasn't even a gift. I was deserving of purchasing new shoes. And it was one of those things that I continued to put off. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about shoes and how that all relates to my own money story and whatnot on another day. But this was something that it was a fun piece of homework and it felt like a reward, but truly it was me taking action to better step into, this better version of me. One that felt like she was showing up as her best self. So what does any of this have to do with henna? I'm sure you're like, what on earth? Like, I appreciate the story, but like, what's this have to do with me? Y'all, it has everything to do with henna. Okay? Listen, y'all know how I feel about our actions being indicative of our aspirations. Okay? But behind that all, there is something else. You have to understand that our mindset impacts our actions. Okay? So for me, I went into that exercise and into that experience hoping to actively work towards being more intentional about what things, people, and practices were allowed inside of my space, and thus be able to influence my mindset, right? So for me, what does that look like? My aspirations include creating wealth, period. Okay. So my mindset needs to be aligned with that. And my environment should support that mindset as well. So for me, my personal agenda became to make changes which would allow for an environment that would be more charged with abundance. That meant getting rid of things that were inconvenient or uncomfortable or otherwise making me feel poor. Okay. So if nothing else, what I kind of want you to take from this is that if you are wanting to build a business, right? If you're wanting to build a business that generates wealth, if your goal is to harness this skill set that you have and you want to make money doing it, you're not going to do that as your best self if you're showing up in every other area of your life as less than. You are not less than. You are deserving of everything that you want. You are deserving of everything that you desire, and you totally have the right to have those things. Period. Like there's no discussion here, okay? But sometimes we need someone to remind us of that. And for me, having someone remind me of that in such a stark way, asking me, Chelsea, what about what's going on in your life right now? What about your environment right now? What about your experience right now makes you feel poor? Like it was a question that I was not anticipating, but it was a question that was really valuable. And it really changed my perspectives around what I would continue to allow for myself moving forward. And so I share that with you because if your aspirations are like mine, which if you're here as a hennapreneur, I assume that they are quite similar, right? You've got these big audacious goals around your art and your business. Okay, well, your mindset needs to be aligned with that. You cannot expect to make money with a mindset that's framed around or that constantly is giving, thought to poverty or placing you in experiences where you feel less than. That cannot be a part of the equation, okay? Your environment should support the mindset that is going to create that environment for you to chase those aspirations, feeling authentic and feeling well supported. And so if that's not clear, like if it isn't clear, this is me right now saying, hey, hennapreneur friend, hey, listen, this is your permission to go and buy that thing that's been in your cart for weeks that you've been putting off because you were saying, I'm not worthy. Or you were saying, I'll get it later. Or the kids needed something first. Or now it's not the right time. Listen, I'm telling this to you, and specifically if it's something that is to replace something else that exists in your life right now that is inconvenience or that is uncomfortable or that is otherwise making you feel poor, get rid of that trash and purchase the thing that you need. Because you know what? In doing that small action, and again, it doesn't have to be some huge investment, okay? It doesn't have to be the $400 printer. It doesn't have to be the Christian Louboutin shoes. It doesn't have to be some, you don't have to replace your vehicle here. Literally, for me, some of those items that I went in and replaced were as simple as the can opener and the ice cream scoop and a whole lot of new lingerie, if I'm being honest. But I mean, let's be real, right? When you show up in the world with with good negligee, right? With good unmentionables under your clothing, you step into the room with a whole nother, sense of confidence. And so what does that do? That allows for you to take actions that perhaps you would be more shy to take, or perhaps you would come into yourself and retract and choose not to put yourself out there because that confidence was lacking. No. Buy you buy you some new unmentionables so that you can step into the world and really embody the greatness that's in you, and allow for that confidence and for those small investments to send those messages to your brain, to send those messages to to your subconscious about how you are deserving and how you are worthy and how your actions are aligned with your aspirations of creating more money, of creating more wealth, of creating a different experience with your business. Okay. So with that, I'd love to ask, in what ways are you pushing yourself to make your life experience better aligned with your wealthy aspirations? I want you to roll that question around for yourself and really take inventory of what those answers are. And if you are not doing that right now, then I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to do so. I want to challenge you to ask yourself, in what ways can I reaffirm my availability for abundance and my willingness to receive that abundance? And in what ways can I better embody the alignment between my actions and my aspirations as you are moving into your next goals? Okay. So with that, I will jump off of here. I've told you entirely too much with this with this story time, but I hope that my experience with this printer and with this ice cream scoop and with my good old, my good new, I should say, lingerie, I hope that this context gives you also a little bit of a push in the direction towards, allowing yourself to enjoy the things that you deserve, and also allowing yourself to affirm and reaffirm the abundance and your willingness to be in alignment with that abundance, and your openness to receiving that abundance. And of course, having that willingness to take the actions that are going to align with where you'd like to go, not necessarily perhaps where you are today, but where you'd like to go as well. Because it's so, so, so important for you to have that alignment in yourself, in your life, and then ultimately in your business as well. Are you working with me inside of Hennapreneur Pro? If not, what are you waiting for? Go to hennapreneur.com/pro to join. Inside of the program, you get all of the guidance, motivation, and strategies that you need to start or scale your own 5-figure business as a henna professional. Need to hone in on your technical skills and perfect your craft? Dive into the Design Lab where you'll improve your design composition skills and refine your signature style. Want to better connect with clients who value your art and are excited to pay you what you deserve for your services? Learn to elevate your brand and attract quality clients who you'll love serving while working inside of the accelerator. Are you struggling to make strategic decisions as you grow and expand? Or do you crave support as you take the next big steps in your life and business? Take advantage of business and mindset coaching, which happen inside of the program every single week. Whether you're just getting started and want to launch a sustainable side hustle, or you've been working with henna for a while and need help scaling to earn solid full-time income with your art and without burning out, Hennapreneur Pro provides exactly what you need to build your brand, book more clients, and make more money doing what you love. Listen, when it comes to operating a thriving henna business, there are so many systems, strategies, and techniques that you likely haven't considered, much less implemented. And I can't wait to teach them all to you, placing you on the fast track for the success that you've been dreaming of. If you're committed to your vision of owning a business as a bona fide hennapreneur, then I'm committed to showing you exactly how to do it. Go to hennapreneur.com/pro to join. I can't wait to see you and to support you inside.